Habitat for Humanity is an organization that builds and sells decent, quality houses to families at an affordable mortgage and low interest rate. Families who are selected for homes have demonstrated their need, their willingness to partner with Habitat, acceptance of responsibilities, and ability to repay the mortgage on the home that they're selected for. Hi, and welcome to this week's installment of Tom's Take. And thanks again to my sponsor, Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial Group in La Salle. Habitat for Humanity of La Salle Bureau in Putnam Counties has most recently been building a home in the 400 block of 7th Street in Peru. That one is getting close to completion, and the next project is going to be at a home in Princeton, which will be the 17th that they've built in the area. As part of the home building process, families put in a minimum of 500 hours of work of some sort into either the home's construction or some other facet of Habitat for Humanity. One option is to volunteer at the Habitat Restore. These are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers. Profits from the restores are reinvested in the community to provide a funding stream to help support the broader Habitat mission. Habitat for Humanity of La Salle Bureau in Putnam Counties has a 28,000 square foot restore in Peru here at 1011 Shooting Park Road. And this is where I caught up with a couple of remarkably dedicated people this past week. Dan Fitzgerald is the executive director of the local Habitat organization. Jessica Brayfield is the procurement manager of the restore in Peru. You're going to see at the start of this video that they're standing in front of the Miller Community Center, which is a large, free-to-use meeting space in the restore itself. That, of course, is tied to the tremendous financial support Habitat's received from the Miller Group Charitable Trust.
So there are 900 restores in the U.S. There's 11 in Illinois. And the whole concept is to find a funding source to fuel the Habitat mission. So we can kick money over from any profits that come from this and give it to the affiliates so they can continue to do home builds and repairs. I was a teacher, and then I got into real estate, and my contractor brought me here to look for floor tile. And I said, what is this place? And I was familiar with Habitat, but I didn't know Habitat had a restore, and I didn't know it was here. So I started volunteering here, and I'm still here.
Enjoying it?
Yes, I love it here.
What keeps you here?
You know, I wanted to be a part of something bigger. I wanted to give back, and I just didn't feel like I was doing enough. And the volunteering, you know, it made me feel better. It made me feel like I was giving back to the community. I believed in the mission, and you know, I've always had like an inner drive to like combat homelessness and at least have a slice of the pie. And so coming here I was able to do that. So the Miller Foundation was a generous donor in the very beginning and helped us open up this restore with their donation, and wanted to provide more back to the community as well. So they opened the Miller Community Center here, and it's a free community center for anybody that needs to use it for meetings, groups. We use it for financial literacy, for meetings for that. We use it for, you know, birthday parties if you want. It's just a free center that brings the community together here.
Habitat for Humanity is a faith-based organization whose mission is to put God's love into action by building homes and revitalizing communities and bringing people together to give hope. And that creating communities and bringing people together, this is a perfect fit for that. I worked for 45 years in human services in La Salle County, and a friend asked me if I would join the board of directors here a few years ago, and so I did. And our executive director recently left, and somebody said, well, you kind of know how to do this stuff. So I'm sitting in that chair now, and so that's my role here. I've always been, as Jessica says, you know, the sense that there's something bigger and more important than you, and the giving back. So yeah, so and there are people that you meet, and people that when you see how the lives that you can touch, I mean, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It is pretty much required to sweat equity, but not necessarily in the bill. They have to participate in up to 500 hours of, and that volunteering can be helping to build their own home, but there are people who can't do that. So their sweat equity may be involved, may be translated into volunteering at the restore or volunteering at some other project that we have going or are trying to get going. So those who can, you know, not everyone has the skill to work on a construction site, nor the desire. So we try to accommodate that. But most of our homeowners, as we've done builds, most of our homeowners, and they can bring their families into that too, to fulfill that requirement. So they do. So it's not just one person has to provide that 500 hours. They can, it's their parents, their extended family, children can be involved in that. The family that we are working with right now, she makes the best lunches for our volunteers. Well, we have a build going on right now in Peru, rather, and we anticipate a build in the spring in Princeton. We're trying to lay the groundwork for that. And it starts with the two most important things you start with is, first of all, you have a family. Is there someone who's in need? And in the 3-county area, there are a very large number of people who do qualify, meet the income guidelines and the need for improved housing. So there's a large pool of people out there. So the first thing, our family selection committee goes through that process of trying to identify individuals who can not only have a need for housing and are willing to put in the sweat equity, but one of the big misconceptions that we want to dispel about Habitat for Humanity is we do not give away houses. People assume a mortgage. They pay for a mortgage for their home. So they have to have the ability to repay that mortgage. So having the family and having a lot. And we have a lot over in Princeton and on Cherry Street over there, and we anticipate building there. After that, of course, there's laying the groundwork with, we'll seek donations, either cash or in-kind donations from people in the community, vendors who may want to donate some or all of a service in the building of the home. And then, of course, there's the recruitment of volunteers, which is a very high priority for us. The affordable housing crisis is growing. And Habitat is one of the has impacted that as best they can, but they can't do it alone. So there's a lot that's a part of Habitat's mission has evolved into national and state advocacy to try and promote legislation that will reduce the burdens on families and make it affordable for them to get into a place that they can call their home.
If you're listening to this on the radio or online, you're just hearing the audio portion of a video that's posted on the YouTube page of Starved Rock Media. You can find all the Tom's Take videos there. Back to Habitat. Dan Fitzgerald and I took a walk around this restore, and one of the things we talked about is the impact of Habitat for Humanity on the communities where the homes are built in La Salle, Bureau, and Putnam counties.
Well, it's helpful to the communities in a couple of ways. First of all, most of our lots come from cities, properties that they have acquired, that they have the abandoned properties or properties that have fallen into great disrepair, where the city has ended up taking possession of the property, and we're taking that and turning it into just a vacant lot that they got to mow into a tax-paying property. It also, we believe it also benefits the community in that it brings communities together. We've done builds, particularly in smaller towns, where it has been a real central, it's just brought so many people together and everybody wants to be a part of it. So we think that has a more of an intangible benefit to the community, but from the standpoint of the factual benefit, it does. It takes a family and makes them taxpayers and gives them an investment in the community where they now have ownership and a stake in that community. This affiliate has been in existence since 1996, as when this local La Salle Bureau Putnam County affiliate came into existence in 1996. And they started out in just La Salle County. They branched out within a couple of years. They branched out into the 3-county area. And since that time, we've built 17 homes. We're on our 17th build right now. So we were only building a home every 2 or 3 years because it was just a bunch of people sitting around the table going, "Hey, let's build a house." And and that took a lot of time. And they didn't have the infrastructure to do that on a regular basis. Well, the restore is now going to generate that profit, that income that gives us the operating costs and beyond that, contributes to the actual build of homes.
Yes.
But now we have the ability to broaden our footprint beyond just building homes. As I mentioned before, advocacy, it also enables us to get into veterans repair projects and critical repairs for homeowners. There's, of course, it's a government loan, so there is a lot of bureaucracy in getting that loan. We want to cut through that for families, so we've recently developed a process where they can fill out a one-pager, and it'll help narrow down right away. Do you qualify for this? Is it worth you going through this process or not? So we have a pre-qualification worksheet that we are encouraging families to complete and determine their eligibility.
I'm a volunteer here. I do whatever needs to be done, whether it's moving furniture, fixing, repairing things. I started at the beginning of the build in Ladd, April of 2021. Helped to break ground there, and my original intention was to do some HVAC work, and that got taken over by somebody else, and I just stayed to help and finish that job. And in the interim, when we weren't working on the build, I would come here and volunteer at the store. It got into me. I really got involved in the reason for what's going on here and the purpose behind the whole thing got into me. And as a retired person now, I decided, okay, I could better use my time helping somebody get ahead than sitting at home watching a boob tube.
We can take volunteers as young as 16 at a build site. Now, we could take volunteers younger than that doing other things if we had an event here at the community center, something else that wasn't on a construction site.
Now, volunteering for Habitat for Humanity is easy. Check out the Facebook page or visit localhabitat.org. Thanks as always to Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial Group in La Salle for paying for this weekend cup of coffee. If you have a person, organization, or topic that you'd like for me to cover, let's talk about it. Call me at the station at 815-223-3100. I'll talk to you in the morning.